What do we all have in common? Well, that's the earth. That seemingly simple reminder from environmental activist and poet Wendell Berry is too often overlooked. Taking care of this space, the earth, our environment, should be everyone's concern. It's certainly a concern for us here at Jamaica Magazine. Welcome to another Wednesday with us. I'm Theodore Henry. Catch up with the day's news and then ways government is working to keep our Jamaican environment safe and protected.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, May 26. The Ministry of Education is reporting the smooth sitting of the Primary Exit Profile PEP exam for grade 6 students. 39,000 students registered for the exam, which was held earlier today. Students will be placed in high schools based on today's ability test score, combined with the results of the grade 4 mathematics and language arts performance task exams they did in 2019. Earlier today, Education Minister Favoll Williams visited Hope Valley Experimental and Providence Primary Schools to offer moral support to the students.
I know the pandemic, we all lived through it. It was a different kind of environment. We're still living through it. But I know you're here, you are resilient. So all the best again, boys and girls. All the best for the exam.
Meanwhile, 36 students from the Salt Spring Primary and Junior High School have been gifted with learning devices. The tablets were issued by Prime Minister Andrew Holness through his Positive Jamaica Foundation. The school also received a laser printer courtesy of Printware Online. So far, almost 124,000 of the 500,000 students targeted have received learning devices. As he issued the tablets, Prime Minister Holness told the recipients that the devices were not toys and should be used responsibly. He also urged caregivers to properly monitor children during online learning.
So you can't just leave the children with the devices on their own. From time to time, you have to supervise them, ensure that they are using these devices for the purpose for which they were given, which is to help them to access information through the internet that will advance their education.
Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang says the country is witnessing its lowest recording of serious crimes in over 20 years. He attributes this to the massive investment made over the last 5 years and the ministry's sound policy directives. Minister Chang says strategic emphasis has been placed on crime prevention, detection and mitigation within the JCF through the use of technology, training and physical upgrades. He points out that over the last 5 years, serious crimes, which include murder, shooting, rape, robbery and break-ins, have declined by an average of 5% per annum. Further to that, Dr. Chang says between 2015 and 2020, total serious crimes declined by approximately 24%, moving from 6,667 in 2015 to 5,086 in 2020.
Jamaican people are now becoming accustomed to our new look police force. Having provided the police the requisite multiplier over the last 4 years, we are now seeing significant improvement in policing capacity, response, as well as the crime trends.
Minister Chang was delivering his contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament on Tuesday. Also coming out of his sectoral presentation, the National Security Minister says ground will be broken later this year for an autopsy suite on Orange Street in downtown Kingston.
Upon completion, it will give us a forensic pathology unit that is comparable to any in the globe, anywhere.
Pointing to other technological advancements, the minister says DNA and ballistics analytical capabilities have been increased due to the upgrading of the Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine. He says this level of investment has positioned the institute to make an even greater contribution to the administration of justice in Jamaica.
For the set of trials that were scheduled in Home Circuit Court for 2021, my friend Minister of Justice, 2021 Easter term, the Institute has already completed its work and issued the ballistic certificates for 99% of the cases ahead of receiving requests.
In addition, there has been a 60% increase in the number of crime scenes connected to ballistic evidence. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is echoing calls for greater African unification for reparations. The Prime Minister made the call while speaking yesterday at the Africa Day webinar.
Africans and people of African descent must work together to demand reparations from European colonial powers for the damage caused to our people who endured over 400 years of enslavement with continuance in post-slavery governance and economic arrangements.
Prime Minister Holness says that in the quest for justice, Africans and people of African descent should focus on eradicating the inequities which have caused many to be disenfranchised. In addition to African unity, he also reiterated his call for equitable access to vaccines for the Caribbean and Africa.
It would be the greatest setback for mankind if inequitable vaccine access were to cause uneven recovery and a widening of the development gap between the rich and poor globally.
And finally, a national hurricane preparedness campaign is to be rolled out ahead of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. Forecasters have predicted that this June to November hurricane season will be more active than usual. Among the predictions are 17 storms and 8 hurricanes classified as categories 3 to 5 in strength. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Desmond McKenzie, made the disclosure while making his contribution to the 2021-22 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives.
Our disaster coordinators have been doing all the things necessary to secure shelters during the period and ensure that the isolation wards are in place.
In the meantime, Minister McKenzie says the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, has so far gathered more than $35 million in relief supplies for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Eastern Caribbean island has been impacted by the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano. Minister McKenzie says ODPEM has also received $3.2 million in donations for the relief efforts. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
The NSWMA's efforts to keep our outdoor spaces clean is a clear indicator of government working to cater to that need for us, the Jamaican people. And here's the thing, you don't have to do much in this regard, because even as you sleep, the work continues. Here's exactly what I mean.
Once upon a time, in a land far away from a fairy tale, were a people who lived the way you and I do, but a little differently. Much like the shoemaker and the elves, these street fairies don't leave beautiful pairs of shoes behind, but their art shares some similarities, and it's nonetheless worthy of recognition.
Good night, Donna Anderson, shovel user, shovel and jump, clean up Jamaica.
I'm working in the company 8 years now. I like the job, keep the place tidy and clean.
They always say to me, say, this is not a woman's work, but a woman has to do what a woman has to do, eh? You have to work for yours, eh? Nobody ain't gonna give you nothing, so you have to work for it.
Yeah, enough of the woman they work hard and plenty of the man them. I get used to my work still, so I don't feel no different from the man them. At the end of the day, I will bread where I work for. So any work for woman. Woman do man work nowadays.
I'm all right with my work. Yeah, I can provide for myself, my nephew, my niece, my child. She don't really like me day out here, you know. She rather me day with she, but I have to make ends meet. I have to work, I have to pay my bills them. But they don't give me nothing, I have to work my own. But people that see me and want to style me and this, because I try to chuck work me do and them thing there. But I don't really watch my face. Because I know, say, when my money enough, you see me?
I want to burn fire upon this whole foolishness that people talk from time to time about. If they don't litter, people don't get work.
Yeah, that's what them say some my time. But them can do better still. Plenty of them can do better still.
Enough of them like we, enough don't like we, because sometimes we have to do with all the truck like all that, so now them don't say, we move from there, say they don't thinking truck and them things, but we don't care about that. That's our work.
When you litter, you waste the resource of your country. You make life more difficult for yourself and your fellow men. And you destroy the aesthetic, the beauty of our country that we boast about so much.
We are cleaning up Jamaica. And without cleaning up not Jamaica, wiper, disease and germs are broke out. So everybody who work with solid waste, important people them. All are important.
Differently from the sweeper them, we don't like the garbage bag up and we go through it more easier for it. More time we come out and have to wait on the sweeper them like on the just seat right now. We have to wait till the street sweep up, but if it's bag up, it's more easier for it.
Just the fact that you are generating solid waste, I ask you to just take some time to package it properly so that it gives us more ease of cleaning. And it also helps the side women. They are human beings too. Their job is already very difficult. Don't make it more difficult for them by giving them extra work to do. It is very tough on them. The job is difficult. You know, it's not just about lifting things put in a truck, but some of the things they encounter out here, bags with human feces, that's common occurrence, especially in the market district. The smell of urine is everywhere, and it's in the solid waste that they're picking up. All sort of meat cuttings, fish bone, fish back, fish gut, just about anything that people don't want, and they have to pick it up. They have to face it.
A certain time at the night, when we reach certain hours at the night, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, gunman can all strike and we have to run left the garbage some of the time and all them things there. And come back around and take it up, see, because we cannot leave it. See me? We cannot leave it. And we don't like them keep Jamaica beauty and clean.
Well, I stay out of them way, and I'm not really go for them though, I still think them happen, you know. I just stay by myself, each time I look a corner.
And yet, despite the tough nature of the job, these people show up not just for work, but they show up and work.
We're backbone of the company, you know. Who clean the rubbish and my backbone, we're the most important people in the company. How we clean up work, enough mess and good rubbish, bad rubbish, all different kind of rubbish.
I believe deep in my heart that if you talk about heroes and heroines, our sidemen and sidewomen are right up there with any because of the human service that they provide and in very tough circumstances to keep Jamaica clean. Day after day, night after night, they are out and about, they roll up the sleeve, and notwithstanding all that they have to face, their head is down and they are going relentlessly in pursuit of that clean Jamaica. I laud them. I lift my hat to them. They are good people. I just hope that more and more people will see them for who they are. People who are there to safeguard the health of the nation. They are the NSWMA. Without them, we are nothing.
Yeah, I love my work. I love it. I love clean the shovel.
I read me use a night time
And as sunbeams break the night sky and the stars and moon bid their goodbye, the city smiles.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
So after the NSWMA does its bit to keep Jamaica clean, you can do your part by maintaining that space and also planting a tree. As you'll see next, we need trees for life.
Eroded coastlines, a rise in sea levels, hotter, longer dry seasons, shorter flood-prone wet seasons, more and stronger hurricanes. That's the face of climate change in Jamaica. But we have an important tool in the fight against the change in weather systems, and that's by planting a tree. Trees have been known to remove carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere, and by this process reduce climate change. That's why the state has committed itself to a planting program tagged 3 million trees in 3 years. The number represents Jamaica's population of 3 million, and the trees will be planted over a 3-year period. Managed by the Forestry Department, the initiative will expand public and private forested areas. 2 million timber seedlings will be planted by the Forestry Department, and the rest will be issued to the public for planting. The project started in 2019 and has been steadily gaining traction. In a 1-year period, over 272,000 seedlings have been distributed for planting. They include a mixture of timber, ornamental, and fruit trees. Several public and private entities have come on board. And recently, the National Road Operating and Construction Company Limited, NROC, joined the campaign.
NROC has been constructing toll roads for the past 20 years, and we have built more than 100 kilometers of toll roads. When you build, obviously you then impact on the environment by removing existing trees. So as part of the project, we gave a commitment to put back trees that were lost, and not just put back trees, but put back additional trees over and above those which were taken out as part of the highway construction.
And so, 480 trees were planted along a section of the North-South Highway toll road in Nisted St. Catherine. The area is being used as a test site for NROC's plans to reforest and beautify lands adjacent to the toll road it manages. Blue maho, Spanish elm, and pink and yellow pui seedlings were planted.
As part of the process, the Forestry Department requires us to maintain the trees over at least a 3-year period until the forest is established. And then they will go into what they call their routine maintenance. NROC will undertake the cost for the maintenance over the period, but Forestry will actually do the actual implementation based on our discussion going forward with them. We are working on an MOU with the Forestry Department that will look at planting trees on the North-South Highway, the East-West Highway, and then when we get to Montego Bay, the Montego Bay Perimeter Road corridor.
We were approached by the UA Rotaract Society to plant trees, and we thought this was an ideal opportunity to partner with them to build on that initiative of planting 3 million trees as the PM had indicated.
One of the points that we came up with was trying to help with climate change. So we're doing a series of tree planting and beach cleanups.
The planting activities began early in the morning, but first a demonstration in the proper way to plant a tree.
We don't want to plant it anywhere above this region here, all right? you end up burying the plant, so you're not killing the plant, right? It's not a funeral. You're trying to help it to grow and survive, right? But when you're going to plant it, ensure that the soil, right now we primarily have clay soil.
And then the planting began in earnest.
It's a good initiative in that it shows people that, it shows to them what it is like to plant a tree. Why it is important is actually really groundbreaking for us.
I think it's a great initiative because Jamaica, it's so beautiful, and if we could do our part in making sure that beauty stays, that natural beauty stays, that's all we need.
It's not often that you'll really see much over in a pandemic even, that people are really coming out. They're really being self-serving and giving of themselves to come and actually take care of the country which we have to call home. So, I mean, it's a pleasure. It's actually an honor to be a part of that kind of initiatives.
Replanting the trees will be good for our environment, good for our water system, as well as the air quality.
This is actually a good use. We're planting flowering ornamental trees so people see it from the highway. It makes the highway more attractive.
So it's been really enriching. It has taken me out of my comfort zone, and I can definitely say that I've learned a lot of things.
And I think it's really, really important, and that is why I took the time to come, because I think we need a lot more plants.
If you are interested in being a part of the 3 Million Trees initiative, contact the Forestry Department at 876-618-3205 or visit 173 Constant Spring Road. Remember, plant a tree today and secure your future tomorrow.
Another area of concern outdoors should be our wildlife, and protecting their habitat should also be very high on our list of things to do. Let's have the experts at NEPA tell us why wildlife conservation is really so important.
Bow your ears for a bit. Hear the trees wailing or the leaves grabbing your unwanted carbon dioxide, insects making a shrilling sound, and the tuneful noise of some unnamed and rarely seen creature reverberating within the bushes. Now open your eyes a bit wider. Watch ants band together in groups of hundreds, or wasps gathering wood shavings to build their next home, and birds preparing some sweet meal for your liking. All these make up the wildlife, those organisms that grow or live wild in any area.
Wildlife conservation is an attempt to preserve either a species or a population of a particular species, and by doing so, you in effect are also preserving its habitat because the species doesn't exist on its own. And there are different types of conservation. You have what they call in situ conservation, which is conservation within its natural habitat, and that is usually the aim of all most, if not all, conservation efforts. And you have ex situ conservation, where you're trying to preserve the animals in a not so natural state, for example, in a zoo or in a controlled park area. And again, the goal is usually when their natural habitat is improved or protected in some way, then they try to repatriate those species back into their natural habitat.
And preserving the wildlife should be an important part of the human agenda. Here's why. It promotes the continuation of native plant species. Small animals like bees, butterflies, and our very own doctor bird play an important role in food production. Conserving these animals, protecting these animals, means that we are ultimately helping in pollination. It increases medicinal value. Plants are a major source of medication, but so too are animals. Take, for example, how research shows that the venom from the cobra can be used as an ingredient in making the medications for leprosy, or how lobsters can be used as antifungals. It's a way to preserve our heritage. Some plants and animals are unique to specific countries, so conserving those wildlife means conserving those traditional aspects of our culture, things like the blue maho plant or the yellow pui tree of Jamaica, and even the lions and leopards of Africa. It enhances food security by protecting natural habitats from degradation and forests against deforestation. The availability of a variety of food products increases.
Everyone needs to play a part. We have to understand that preserving the wildlife, it's not necessarily just for how it can benefit us, but we're also looking at the future generations. And so each person needs to be a little bit more responsible in what they're doing, where they dispose of garbage, cutting off areas and so forth. Understand the law, the Wildlife Protection Act, for example. One basic feature of it is that all native birds are protected. Don't catch the birds, we have hunting season, that is something that is actually regulated. But besides that, we try to encourage persons not to take matters into their own hands at times. Sometimes we have some species that we're trying to protect that are inherently can be a dangerous species, like a crocodile, for example. We encourage persons not to go out and try to catch those animals, but to call NEPA.
Here's your chance to do your part to conserve the wildlife.
We've been talking about keeping our environment clean and much of what government is doing to ensure that this happens. But there are things you can do in your daily lives to make a contribution to this effort. We'll help you help our environment through these simple tips. Number 1, reduce, reuse, recycle. You may have heard this phrase so often in life, but its value never diminishes. Cut down on what you throw away to help conserve natural resources and landfill spaces. Number 2, shop wisely. By wise, I mean buy less plastic and always have your reusable shopping bags. Number 3, don't send chemicals into our waterways. Where possible, always opt for non-toxic chemicals around the home. And number 4, get educated. Learn about the importance of our natural resources and share that information with someone else. Getting Jamaica to the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business will take teamwork. And working together to preserve our environment is just one step to getting there. So, how about starting now? After all that learning, we put the final pause here for today's show. Thanks for sticking through the Jamaica Magazine journey. A refresher of yesterday's journey and others can be had through the JIS YouTube channel. You can also visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.